everyone. Today is going to be slightly different type of a video. I'm going to invite you to my studio and show you a few areas of my working space. I'm going to show you my desk and my watercolor drawers. We're not going to travel beyond that spectrum just because I do need to finish organizing a couple of areas in the studio before I do a full-on studio tour, which I have promised you quite a while ago. So let's basically look at the space. So here's usually the bird eye view that you get when I'm working. And now I'm holding my camera freely and I'm hoping to not get you dizzy. And let's start with the left of my desk. So I tidied it up just a little, but mostly this is the stuff that I like to have on my desk. And so on the left, I like to keep my palettes here, mixing palettes. These are just kind of regular palettes that you can get on Amazon. I will leave the links below, and I have done in the past videos. And these are quite good because they have a larger space, so I like to keep them here. They're nice and handy to reach to. Then I have my autumnal palette. I have this little palette where I used to keep my mini watercolor tubes, but now I have organized, look at this neatness, 2 layers of my Caran Neocolor 2 crayons. So I think they're meant to sit like that. So there's 2 levels of it. And haven't used those for a while actually. So, but I do enjoy using them when I do get to use them. Here I keep usually a sketchbook that I have recently either filmed a tutorial, or if I'm working on a project like behind the camera, if I'm creating new products or things like that, something that I'm actively working on, I usually keep here as well. So it could be any sketchbook, doesn't have to be one specific one. Then here we have a little stack of swatches from my latest tropical palette, the handmade watercolor palette, which hopefully will be available at the end of June as a restock. Here I have 2 palettes which I pulled out of my watercolor cupboard because I want to use them a little bit more. I haven't used them enough. So these are the Sesmal or Schmal watercolors, the Aquarius, and they're quite bright, they're quite vivid. The only thing why I sort of haven't been using them like some of my favorite watercolor brands, which I also turned away from lately, is because I wasn't sure of the light fastness and things like that. When a brand is not as established as some others, you might question that, but honestly, working in your sketchbooks, it really doesn't matter. If you enjoy the colors, if you enjoy the specific values of the colors, you know, then that's all good. And as time has proved, even some of the well-established companies sometimes can be not as trustworthy as we'd like. So yeah, so this is my little setup on this side of the desk. I have a jar of clean water, which I always like to have a lid on because, let's face it, there's just so much stuff that it's very easy to knock something over and it would just be a disaster. So always with a lid. I like to use my favorite marmalade jars and have quite a collection now of all these different jars that are quite handy to do pickles in and keep your water and things in there as well. Here is my small stackable palette. It lives here because it's tucked away, and that way I'm unlikely to knock it off, the top that is. Here we have my Caran aquarels. They always stay here. I don't want them to be too far from me because I always get a couple of colors and I love working with them. Here I tend to have like some sort of a mixing tray. This is actually one I made myself. not this exact one, but better quality, I'd say, are going to come onto my Etsy store soon, so I'm working on that. I will update you on that. Here we have a bunch of watercolor tubes, generally something that either I have recently added to my collection or something that I'm interested in working on certain projects, so I keep them in this little cactus. I think it's a jewelry dish. And then to the right of it we have a couple of the Daleroni FW acrylic inks, which I have worked on recently on a recent project. And there, of course, you can see my tropical palette is nesting over there. Here, this is more kind of a decor. I like pop of color on my desk. I just find it quite inspiring, so I keep these kind of I got it in a craft shop, I think, some time ago. So I keep them here, and a faux peony. Actually, I planted a peony earlier this year, and it's that same variety with these beautiful feathered centers. Here I have a random bunch of things. So alcohol blending solution. I have got the melts for the colored specifically Holbein pencils. Then I have Liquitex acrylic inks, some other inks, a variety of glues right there. There's the ugly radiator. Why can't they come up with something that looks prettier? And yeah, just really different things. My rings, silver rings that I like to wear in the videos and outside of videos as well. And little drawers. I'm not going to go into that. There's basically the Altenew stamps, which I don't even know why I invested my money in them. I have never really used them that much. They're not as great as Tim Holtz Distress Oxides or Distress Inks or the Oxides. Here we have the other stackable palettes, and they're the slightly bigger variety. And then over there we have a bunch of pencils. So I keep my open stock Holbeins and my open stock Lightfast pencils here, and a couple of the Derwent Drawing, which I love using 2 or 3 of them for skin, like blending colors and things. Here we have got the Polychromos, which I all bought open stock. These are my mostly used brushes, watercolor brushes, as well as these two, size 4 and a size 8, which are the silver black velvet brushes. Then next to the Polychromos I also have the Caran Museum Aquarelle, so these are the watercolor pencils, and a few other brushes that I like to have for a variety of mark making. Of course, a nail polish to remind myself that I do need to paint my nails quite urgently, and a few other bits and pieces that you have seen reappear on my channel. Here are just some different clear stamps. Here is the microphone that I talk to you in, and then a bunch of different pencils. And this is my kind of, oops, sorry for hitting the mic. This is my non-pretty area. So as you can see, I prefer looking at these colors right here, and yeah, this is more of like stationery type of thing. I honestly don't need all of them. I could tidy up more of the pencils and things. So up here I have got a little jar with, or a jug rather, I think, where did I buy this? Maybe Marks and Spencer's? Home Decor, I believe, quite a few years ago before we moved to this house. And so here I have some of the tools and some of the long handle brushes and things like that. So then to the right of the desk, so the desk finishes here, and here I have just kind of like, oh, my mood board. Maybe I should show you my mood board since we're here. So this is my mood board, which really needs to be updated. I kind of just pop things there that I find inspiring, whether they're color inspiring or texture inspiring, things like that. And then here is the scrapbooking area, which actually I've never properly got into, but I did used to buy a lot of the stickers and stuff like that. Here I keep a basket where basically I keep all sorts of papers there, so some cute napkins that I could use for collages. So this is my kind of like inspiring basket for all sorts of different purposes. Whatever I find something that I could potentially use, I'll just pop in that basket. And here I always like to keep a stack of my sketchbooks, which I'm actively working on, so there's a few there, and my heat tool from Hobbycraft. Okay, so let's do the drawer. This is the IKEA, I forget what it's called, but pretty much everyone knows this drawer. My watercolor palette drawer. Okay, so let me try and show you a few things. So this drawer is filled to the top of things, and we've got here Mugello. Let me see, this is quite tricky with one hand. So we've got the Mugello watercolors. The palette is beautiful. I do love it, and I need to use more of it. Then we have the Schminke. So here is my Schminke palette, which I have bought as, I think, 48 or 36 rather, plus 12 empty. So I have adjusted it myself how I wanted it. And what else do we have? We have Core. This is the High Chroma, that's it. There we go. Then I have the quinacridone set, which is, do you know what? I'm just going to get my tripod. This camera is super heavy, and I'm going to set you up. 1 second. Okay, so you are now on tripod, which means I can use 2 of my hands to show you things. Let's see what else we have. We have this beautiful palette, which is by Nievskaya Palitra, and it's the White Nights watercolor range. And I have again put this all together myself. I have customized it. There is a video where I talk about it. I'll try to link it for you to see how I've done it and what I have done to change the colors and things and why I did it. Then another small one by Nievskaya Palitra. So this is, I think, the 12 color one. And you can see I've got my neutrals in there. Then I have some custom-made palettes. So this was one of my very first custom-made palettes. And there is a video on that as well. If you are interested, I'll try to link it up. And have I mentioned this one? Quinacridone Quinset watercolor set. So these are the M. Grahams, which are made with watercolor. With honey, and they're a little bit stickier, so if you don't fancy that idea, might not be for you. They also don't travel very well, so keep that in mind. But they're stunning, beautiful colors. I love this set. So you got the quinacridone red, quinacridone rose, quinacridone rust, quinacridone violet, and nickel quinacridone gold. Then we have another palette. So this is, I bought a Jackson's empty palette, and this was my first kind of Daniel Smith only palette, which is beautiful, but I'm giving it a little break. Domestic Goodness, so that was a mint tin which again I have customized into these lovely vibrant colors. Again, I'll try to link that up for you as well. Then we have the portable painter, which is great for outdoors if you want to set up a bit of painting area in the garden, or if you're going anywhere else. This is a fun little palette to take with you. So these are the colors that I put in there. They're all kind of great for mixing. This is a more of a traditional way of putting colors together rather than the other colors, which you saw they were more convenience mixes. Okay, next one, I have this palette as well that I put myself together, and let's look inside. Oh, these two popped out. So these are quite summery and quite kind of bright and luscious, and I like that the sections resemble the colors that are there, the mixing areas. Then this is an empty box from colors that I was sent to try out. So this is the Shizmal watercolors. I think that was like a exhibition promo type of set. Oh, here we go. Here we have some craft grade watercolors. The Prima Tropicals. I mean, who doesn't like Prima watercolors? If you first start with watercolors, they are quite colorful and fun, and they have so many different sets. Even when I got into artist grade watercolors, I still was tempted to get a couple of them. I think they have like a nice skin tone, a set, and something else which looked really inviting. So I've got these two sets, the Tropicals and the Classics. So you can see, really bright and beautiful, and great for kids, great for taking with you, great if you don't want to spend too much money on watercolors and want to have fun. These are the fine tack colors, so these are kind of handmade metallic colors. Honestly, I don't use this palette very often, but it does have some really beautiful iridescent colors, so kind of like a transparent base with these colors that shift. This is like a pink green, this is like a green lilac, and this is like a green blue. I don't know if the camera picks up. No, it doesn't really pick up on these sorts of colors. This set I do like using. This is also fine tack, and these colors you can pop out and replace when you finish them, so that's a good thing. You can't do it with the other ones, the smaller colors. So this is a beautiful variety of different golds. Then this is my first ever watercolor palette. When I went to uni, you can see it's gone yellow. It was actually white plastic, but with age it's gone this off-white. And yeah, this is what it looks like, and I'm not using it, I'm keeping it as a memory of like just the beginning of it all. And actually I got my son when he was just 3, I think. I got his first palette, which is exactly this one, just a new one for him to also experience that love for watercolors and everything. And I think, funny enough, pink was the first color he finished up, so he loves pink. Okay, next one, what's this? I don't even remember now. Are these the Jacksons? They don't say anything on the tin, and for some reason I didn't label them. I think this may be the Jacksons half pan colors. This was very long time ago now. So that's that. I quite like their tube paints. So that's that. We have a few left. There's another Schminke here. This is the Schminke Academy. Now Schminke Horadam is the artist grade, and this is their student grade, which is quite expensive still for students. I'm keeping it to give to my son when he's a little bit older, because it is quite expensive for student grade. Yet I find, although it's great quality, don't get me wrong, but I'd rather pay just that bit extra and get the artist grade instead. I did not enjoy painting with the Schminke Academy, although I have heard some people say they love it.